Hello, my name is Maria. Thank you for tuning to my presentation today. The reason I've created it is because some people struggle with interview questions when looking for an IT support role. In order to help you, I will present some questions and answers. So, information, technology, interview, questions and answers. Moving on to the first slide, I will try to explain you the S.T.A.R technique, which some of the companies, specifically civil service, they like to hear you S.T.A.R technique in order to answer their questions. So S.T.A.R will come from situation, task, action, and result. So situation is about explain what the situation was. Task, you will have to explain what the task was, what needed to be done from your side. Action, explain what action you took. Result, explain what the result was following your actions. So firstly, I'd like to say that make sure when you give the answer to the S.T.A.R technique, make sure you use you, I as a person. I have this task, I've done this action, I have come to this result, rather than saying we as a team. Make sure in the end the result is positive. So moving on to the first question, tell me about yourself. So this is a chance from your side to tell the interview person about you, to tell about your skills, about your knowledge, and to sell yourself. So tell me about yourself and why you want to work in this service desk role. Here is the answer. I'm here today being interviewed for this service desk role because I believe the skills and qualities I possess are a perfect match for the job. I enjoy communicating with people, have strong analytical skills that allow me to solve problems quickly, and can work under pressure to solve issues for customers and clients, in line with the targets my employee demands. I'm someone who picks things up very quickly, can build strong relationships with my coworkers, and will always present your brand in a positive way whilst dealing with customers and clients' calls. I appreciate you are interviewing for lots of people for this service desk role, but I can assure you that if you decide to choose me for this position, I will be the perfect employee who will always carry out my duties diligently and professionally. So this answer will be a perfect answer as you tell about your skills, you tell about your knowledge, and you assure the interviewed person that you are the perfect person for this role. Moving on to the next question, why should we hire you? So why should we hire you? Here is the answer. I think you should hire me for three main reasons. The first reason, and perhaps the most important, is that I have the necessary experience to carry out this service desk role to standards you expect. The second reason is that I will be able to quickly align the transferable skills I already possess so I can start performing in the service desk role quickly and without supervision. Finally, I feel it's really important as a service desk team member to have strong communication skills. If you have strong communication skills, you can quickly get to the heart of the problem and resolve an issue with clarity, logic, and to the satisfaction of the customer or client. I believe I have the very strong communication skills that will assist me in this role if you choose to hire me. So here you presented the main reasons and qualities which you have, and you can transfer these skills very quickly in the job role which you are interviewed for. So moving on to the next question, why do you want to work for our company in this role? So in this situation, they are asking you to check if you have a research about the company. So here is the answer. When I initially saw this job advertised with your company, I knew it was the position I wanted. Your company has a solid reputation, employs lots of talented people, and it is somewhere I genuinely feel I can grow and develop. Also, more importantly, I genuinely believe in your products and services. This means I will really enjoy my job as part of the service desk team because I will have a passion talking about your different products and services, and also getting quickly to the problems faced by your customers and clients. Finally, your strong values and ethic are attractive to me as an employee and will feel proud to work for your company within the service desk team. This is a perfect answer which will tell them that you have researched about the company and you know where are you going and what are you bringing to them company. Next question. Describe a time when you took ownership of the situation. So here is the answer. In a previous job, a dissatisfied customer called the service desk to complain they had been waiting to hear back from another analyst, but they had not received the call as promised. The analyst was off that day. So I decided to take ownership of the situation to resolve it there and then for the customer. I quickly read back through the case notes. Whilst the customer remained on the line, the analyst had not raised the problem with our technical department, and this oversight was the main reason why the follow-up call had not been made. I apologized unreservedly to the customer and gave them a honest appraisal of the situation. I reassured them I would personally deal with the situation from there on in, and I assured them I would call them every 24 hours with an update. After escalating their case to the technical team within 48 hours, the issue was successfully resolved. During that time, I had kept the customer updated and reassured as promised. So here is the brilliant answer which will explain to the interviewed person that you took ownership of the situation and you followed the steps step by step and keeping informing the customer and updated. So next question, how would you deal with a difficult customer? First of all, I would listen to them by giving them my full attention. I would take notes as they spoke and ask them clarifying questions to make sure I fully understood their complaint or problem. I would then show genuine concern for their situation, apologize if required, before offering up multiple solutions to their issue to demonstrate I genuinely carried out their predicament. At no stage during the call would I react emotionally, nor would I take anything they said personally. I would avoid putting the caller on hold, and I would always be honest and never make promises I could not keep. Dealing with difficult customers within the service desk team is all part of the role, And it's important to practice genuine positivity in the tone of your voice and how you would deal with all customers. So in this situation, you give a brilliant answer again, and you explain that you dealing with a customer complaint, you will be caring and you will listen and you will deal with the issue straight away. So moving on to the next question. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This is a tricky question because in this situation they want to know how you can deal, you can present your skills, and if you can say something about your weaknesses, but the weaknesses should be something which can be in the positive way. So for the company could be in a transferable in positive way. So here is the answer. During my employment appraisals over the last few years, the core strengths that I hear from my supervisors and team leaders time and time again are my exceptional communicational skills, my ability to provide brilliant service, and also the fact that I always represent the company I'm working for in a positive and professional manner. I also believe another of my strengths is that I am a supportive team member who will step up and take ownership of situation whenever needed. In terms of my weaknesses, this would have to be the fact that I cannot say no to anything. I hate letting people down, and I always say yes to extra work or duties. Whilst this is great for an employee, I do need to make sure I have the capacity to take on extra work whenever it is required. So this is a very good answer, as you are telling to your employee your strengths, two strengths and one weakness. But this weakness is a good for an employee because you are ready to do an extra mile. So moving to the next question. Tell me a time when you made a mistake. Here is the answer. In my previous job, my work colleague went off sick with illness. She was working on an important project for one of our clients, and someone needed to pick up her workload. Despite already being full to capacity myself, I volunteered to take on her work because I didn't want the client to be let down. Unfortunately, a few days into the additional work, I realized I wasn't going to be able to do both my own work and my colleague. I'd already stayed behind late the previous 2 evenings, and it wasn't enough. I went in to speak to my manager. I apologized for saying that I could do the work when in fact I couldn't. He then needed to find someone else to do the work instead. I felt awful because I'd let the team down, but I learned a huge amount for the experience. I should never take on extra work unless you definitely have the ability to do so. Next question. Tell me about a time when you had a conflict at work. Well, this is a tough question, and I will use the S.T.A.R technique in order to show you step by step how the question can be answered. So, situation. When I started work in my previous role, I was keen to make a positive impression, During the first team meeting I attended, I started putting forward some ideas that will help the team. But a senior member of staff kept talking over me. He was dismissive of my suggestions. Moving to the task. Whilst I don't like conflict, I believe it needs to be sorted out quickly for the sake of the team. I saw it as my responsibility to try and resolve the conflict and to build a good working relationship with the person who was dismissing my ideas. So the action which needs to be done in this situation are: after the meeting, I went over to speak to him in private. I asked him in a calm manner if I had done anything to upset him. I said that I couldn't understand why he kept talking over me during the team meeting. I went on to explain that I was here to help the team and that I wanted to learn from other people more experienced than me, such as himself. And here is the result. He appeared quite shocked that I had challenged him about the conflict, and he apologized for coming across the way he had done during the meeting. He assured me it wouldn't happen again, and from that day forward we got on very well and we built up a good working relationship. So moving on to the next question. When you had to juggle lots of tasks at once. Here is the answer. In my previous role as an administrator, another department asked my manager if I would work for them in addition to my own duties and responsibilities to cover sickness absence for a 4-week period. I informed my manager that I was happy to take on the additional work to help out the department. During this 4 weeks period, I literally had to manage lots of workloads and achieved each task by remaining calm, prioritizing each task when it landed on my desk, and also by asking for assistance from other members of the team and when I needed it. At the end of the 4-week period, I was very pleased about the fact I managed to complete all tasks concurrently and help out the department during their time of need. I actually feel I am very good at juggling tasks, and I'm happy to take on extra work and when required whilst working for the civil service, for example. So next question. When you had to influence a manager or a supervisor? Well, this is a quite tough question because it's you have to find the correct words and to come up with ideas in order to influence their decision or their point of view. So here is the brilliant answer. In a previous job, I was part of a working group that was tasked with assessing overall company performance. It was our job to assess the performance of the company with a view to coming up with innovative ways to improve the business long term. Whilst working with other members of the working group, I came up with a suggestion for improving the efficiency of the business through outsourcing. Basically, my suggestion was to utilize external experts and contractors to carry out specific tasks that were normally completed internally. I put forward my suggestion on behalf of the working group to my manager, and initially she was understandably skeptical. However, once I had delivered an in-depth PowerPoint presentation to her that included the key benefits of the plan, she agreed to give it a try for a 3-month period. After the trial period was over, it was decided to make the outsourcing suggestion permanent because it was so successful at increasing efficiency and reducing company costs overall. So here is the last question for this presentation today. Thank you very much for listening, and hope this will help you to pass your next IT support role interview.